Diddy really screwed up, and I'm not referring to his criminal trial, which has him sitting in prison right now, but it has to do with something that happened right before he got arrested. If you've seen the Netflix documentary about Diddy, Diddy The Reckoning, which 50 Cent produced, there's some footage there that had never been seen before. This is a photographer that Diddy hired to follow him around and document his life. That footage ended up going to 50 Cent.
And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know, because it was too early back then. You know, Pac just had died.
So this one night, 50 called me up and, they got him on the phone, man. He was just talking. He was talking about old time shit, sit down with Black Hands, sit down with, with Puff Kids, the whole Puff situation, and this documentary that he's going to be doing.
When 50 Cent debuted his Netflix documentary Shan Come, The Reckoning, many viewers felt the spotlight had finally settled where it was meant to on Diddy, his climb to influence, the power he accumulated, and the collapse that followed. For a brief moment, it seemed like the narrative was firmly locked in place. But almost instantly, that focus began to drift. A surge of online videos and commentaries soon dragged another major name into the chaos: Snoop Dogg. Suddenly, headlines and viral posts suggested that Snoop was nervous, keeping a low profile, or even being shielded because of alleged footage that never appeared in the documentary. Some commentators pushed the story even further, arguing that remarks made by Gene Deal and others hinted at Snoop being tied to something even more troubling than Diddy himself. These accusations spread fast, stitched together from old interviews, blurry clips, prison phone calls, and layers of speculation designed to feel convincing. As always, social media poured fuel on the fire, turning unanswered questions into suspicion and rumors into accepted narratives. Fans began wondering why Snoop hadn't spoken out, whether 50 Cent was holding back information, and if the industry was preparing to expose yet another untouchable icon. But when the noise is stripped away and confirmed facts are separated from internet theories, a very different story starts to take shape, one driven more by exaggeration, recycled claims, and the risky habit of treating speculation as proof. In this video, we'll carefully trace where these allegations actually began, what Gene Deal truly said, what 50 Cent's documentary showed and what it didn't, and how Snoop Dogg has really responded. Most importantly, we'll break down what has been verified, what has been denied, and what remains completely unproven as the fallout surrounding Diddy continues.
Pick up this audio from Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, Tupac and Snoop being cool, and how, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. Let's download right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, old big ass, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these the dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold on. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we got to stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my people.
Real, that's what we came in for. We came in to light it up and ride it up. We never used your hand.
Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the motherfucker that everybody say got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that. Like now, okay, you know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now he he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. You know, we grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this individual. You know what I mean? Even if you don't agree with him, you probably could have said, you know what, I probably ain't gonna come out, publicly with this because until things clear up, so I really know I could be certain that, they didn't have nothing to do with Pac. But it's like, it was no, okay, it is what it is. So that I never really respected that back then.
So you had an issue with it. You didn't like it.
Never really liked it. It just was a strange look because you was Pac boy. You know what I mean? Puffy, it's clear they had some issues with Pac. And Pac died, and all of a sudden you chilling with Puffy. Back then, it just, okay, now you can say what you want. All grandfathers, I guess. You know what I mean? That's different now. But back then, I think it was weird. It was tasteless. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like you really had that much love for Pac. You could have just, you know what I mean? Unless he pressured them or like questioned Puffy, like, yo, what's up with this? What's up with that? Then you could say, you know what I mean? No.
Yet online, Snoop Dogg's name suddenly began trending alongside some of the most serious accusations possible. Not because of solid proof, but largely because of association. Snoop has been part of the music industry for decades, moving through the same circles as Diddy, Suge Knight, and nearly every major power figure during hip-hop's most turbulent years. One of the loudest voices following the documentary's release was Gene Deal, a former bodyguard long connected to Diddy. In interviews and reaction videos, Deal suggested that certain people were uneasy because not everything made it into the final edit. That single implication was all it took for rumor-focused channels to spin out of control. Almost immediately, claims surfaced that 50 Cent had deliberately left out footage, names, and details to avoid pulling the curtain back on the entire industry. Snoop quickly became an easy target, highly visible, internationally famous, and linked to both coasts. Old interviews were dragged back into circulation. Prison phone calls involving Suge Knight were reposted. Unverified stories tied to alleged flash drives connected to Kim Porter were repeated as if they were already established facts. Online, a dangerous storyline began to form, where silence was framed as guilt and visibility was treated as involvement. But when each of these pieces is examined individually, none of them actually proves any wrongdoing by Snoop Dogg. At most, they confirm a single reality that he was present in the same industry, during the same era, alongside many of the same people.
I believe somebody mentioned that they seen a video with me and the dude Prodigy or one of the dudes from my Deep, as if I was with. They don't know the backdrop of that. I went to his hotel room ready to fight. Like, bro, I'll fight everybody in that room one-on-one. Even if I lose, it doesn't matter. The Outlaws was with me. My homie Tiny, the Mexican homie, was with me. I didn't go there and say, let me get in a video with these guys. I went there knocking on their door, doom, doom, doom. Tell them dudes to come out. What's up with your and Pac? You got a problem with Pac? Because we could just fight like man to man, face to face, and then shake hands. That was my approach with them. But when they told me they didn't have no problem, I don't mind being with you. You know what I mean? I don't mind shaking your hand because they told me they had love for Pac. So that's different. You know what I mean? If he come out and say, well, I already, I questioned Puffy about it. I believe that he didn't. He loved Pac. That's my opinion. I can move the way I want to move. So when people try to, I noticed somebody, I think on your page do that. Well, Napoleon was in the video with Mobb Deep. They don't know how I got in that video with Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? I pulled up on him but I'm the type of person, I never been a bully type of person. You know what I mean? If I talk to a person like a man and they tell me face to face, look, I got love for Pac, I'm comfortable to know if I can look in their eyes and if I believe what they said, I have the right to say, okay, no problem. I believe you. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know because it was too early back then. Pac just had died. You know what I mean? Like he had the right to say, the reason why I'm rolling with Puffy, I questioned him about my homie. He gave me this answer. So then he did what he had to do. But it just, you know what I mean? I never really agree with that, to be honest. The same way I couldn't be on the stage with him. When they wanted to do that tribute, I just couldn't do it. Like, I really felt in my heart, like, man, I can't believe this.
This is where the real risk starts. When association replaces actual evidence, stories stop being about facts and start turning into suspicion. In moments like this, the loudest voices are often the least accurate. Shen Kum, The Reckoning was never presented as an all-encompassing takedown of the industry. Its focus remained firmly on Diddy. The documentary traced his rise through Bad Boy Records, his reach and influence, and the systems that shielded him for years. It highlighted victim testimonies, examined patterns of manipulation and control, and most importantly stayed anchored in the legal reality that eventually led to his conviction and a 50-month prison sentence. What the documentary left out is just as important. It did not make unverified claims about unrelated celebrities. It did not suggest Snoop Dogg was involved in any criminal acts. It did not include any footage implying wrongdoing on his part. The notion that 50 Cent deliberately shielded Snoop remains speculation, not fact. Curtis Jackson has been clear in multiple interviews. He revealed only what could be verified and supported by his legal team.
He was doing a documentary thinking he was going to come out triumphant.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how this started. Is he started filming himself and getting this footage because he thought he was going to beat everything. Okay,
Diddy
that makes sense. Okay,
has a relationship
with Netflix. I knew that
with
Ted Sarandis. I saw that. Yes. Okay.
And he's filming it there, but of course, when you get, obviously it wasn't a clean sweep on the prosecutor's side, but you're still going to prison.
Yeah.
He basically kind of scraps it. It's not also Netflix is saying, because they commissioned it, right? Netflix is saying, all right, cool, just turn over what you got. And what we'll do, we'll make it what it is because we're just following reality. Diddy's like, well, hold on now. If I lost the case, I'm down to still do it with you, but I got to be able to control it. Now, Diddy was probably going to kind of shape this doc to make it look like, hey, this was malicious prosecution. They kind of went really hard at me. Mm-hmm. I'm not a perfect guy, but I am a good guy.
Yeah.
And Diddy was like, I need to be able to craft it. And Netflix was like, no, you're not. And he's like,
well, my question is, did he sign the footage over to Netflix so they own it? Mm-mm. Like, how were they able to do this without his?
No, but he didn't pay for it. So essentially, they're calling it a payment error. Oh. So essentially, the deal falls apart, or he's like, yeah, we're not going to do this.
So awkward.
And the people who did the work that have all this footage, they're like, so wait, you told us to film because this is going to be on Netflix. Now you're saying Netflix doesn't exist and we're not getting paid because Diddy was going to pay with Netflix money. And Netflix realized this and they went to the filmers and said, hey.
If anything, the documentary demonstrated restraint in a media environment that feeds on sensationalism. It refrained from naming anyone unless their involvement could be backed by verifiable records or testimony able to withstand scrutiny. That is why claims of hidden footage remain exactly that, claims. No verified videos have emerged. No court documents mention Snoop Dogg. No investigators have identified him as a suspect or even a person of interest. Interestingly, Snoop publicly voiced support for 50 Cent after the documentary's release. He made statements aligning himself with Curtis Jackson, clearly showing no tension between them. That alone weakens the idea that Snoop feared what 50 Cent might reveal. True fear rarely appears alongside public declarations of support.
Look at this through the prism of a modern-day rhetorical genius. A modern-day rhetorical genius. We're talking about the one, the great, the 50 Cent. All right. This guy's skill at rhetoric is absolutely next level. And this totally ties in with, how he famously is a big fan of Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Now, rhetoric with a capital R, I can just give you the definition of that. That's basically public speech, particularly public speech that is to persuade. Any persuasive public speech is rhetoric, right? Now, we kind of break that down into two subcategories of rhetoric with a lowercase r and dialectic. Rhetoric is essentially everything else. And really, what moves the needle with like 97% of people and 100% of groups, okay, is in fact rhetoric with the lowercase r. So again, stuff like this, 50 Cent is an absolute master of. Basically, you know, he dropped this doc, this 50, this Sean Puffy Combs doc, and it's just kind of set the internet on fire. It's beating out Stranger Things. Like, it's a wild ride to watch, right? And one of the things that he does is he breaks down Diddy's character on Diddy's own term.
One of the most cited points revolves around claims from Courtney Burgess, who said she had flash drives allegedly linked to Kim Porter. Burgess stated these drives contain images and videos showing celebrities in compromising positions. Online creators were quick to fill in the blanks, attaching names like Snoop Dogg without any evidence. What's often ignored is crucial context. Kim Porter's children have publicly denied the authenticity of any materials connected to her. Federal authorities have not confirmed the contents of these alleged drives. In any official legal setting, individuals appearing in such material are considered potential victims, not automatically guilty. No verified documents mention Snoop Dogg. No confirmed footage has surfaced. Speculation simply turns suggestion into assumption. This is how misinformation spreads. A hint becomes a rumor becomes a headline, and a headline becomes accepted belief. It's also key to understand that possessing unverified material does not equal proof of criminal activity. Courts require context, corroboration, and credibility. Online commentary requires none of these. That gap is where reputations are unfairly damaged. So when claims arise that Snoop Dogg is panicking over flash drives, they skip every meaningful step. There's no evidence he has been questioned. No indication of an investigation exists. And as of December 2025, there is no legal action tied to his name. Because he wanted them to,
both Suge and Pac.
In the car?
They only Pac, and they don't Suge. So allegedly, they got paid $500,000. The $500,000 was paid to the guy on the right, all the way to the right. You see the guy on the right?
Corey.
He's the one allegedly that got the $500,000, and that money never went to Keefe or anybody else. The guy on the left is the one that stole the chain, the chain, which was a Death Row Records chain. That's a way of saying I got your rapper's chain, because if you were one of the guys, Death Row. So long story short, this whole thing isn't recording that he said this. So what does Diddy do? Rob, can you pull up this song? It's a song called Black Rob, featuring Mark Curry and Mario Winans. If you can just type in lyrics, okay? So he gets $1 million. Can you go to the lyrics? And Diddy's in the lyrics when he gets started. Go a little bit lower. Boom. Can you type in the word in there, Rob? Nice guy. Type Control F, nice guy. Okay, right there. Look at it's 1999. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Been nice too long. I'm just going to start making y'all
blank
disappear. Man, first I'm going to take your records off the radio. Then I'm going to erase your social security number. Take your birth certificate out flies. I'm going to do your whole effing family. Ain't nothing but mercy. And then, by the way, in the lyrics, he says, I'll drop $1 million on your head to erase you. Can you type in, I'll drop $1 million, just put Control F. Just go to Google and type this out. I'll drop $1 million on your head. I'll drop $1 million on your head, and just put Diddy next to it. Right there. See, it says Black Rob. What song came up?
Phrase.
I'll drop $1 million on your head. Erase you and your whole family, biatch.
Wow.
He's saying it in the song on what he did to get rid of Tupac.
What an idiot.
Suge Knight has pointed fingers at Snoop Dogg over the years, alleging betrayal, culpability, and involvement in the darker events surrounding Tupac Shakur's death. These claims often resurface whenever the industry experiences a public reckoning, but they are neither new nor substantiated. Knight has made such statements from prison, frequently during interviews that attract attention because of their controversy. Snoop Dogg has repeatedly denied all allegations, calling them false and fueled by long-standing grudges and rivalry. Most importantly, official law enforcement investigations into Tupac Shakur's death have never resulted in charges against Snoop Dogg.
for being out there and allowing Nisa to come out there to make money, however she was doing it, to feed her family. He vowed down that it's like, yo, I ain't never fucking with her again, and I ain't never fucking with him again. Puff and Suge had a conversation behind the House of Blues about was we all right, and Tupac was alive. Tupac wasn't dead. So if it was a war, Suge ain't having no conversation with Puff about we good. I know he could be doing the Hoboken hustle, trying to fool a brother. But had he killed my man or something like that, I wouldn't have no conversation with Puff. I'd been like, yo, you know what y'all niggas done? You know what happened? And it wasn't no conversation like that, brother. It wasn't no conversation whereas that, Suge made Puff feel like I'm going to get you a payback for what happened to Jake. This was more so that Puff, for whatever reason, Suge, for whatever reason he was mad at Puff, and Puff, for whatever reason he was mad at Suge, it was between them two. It wasn't no whole East Coast wanted the West Coast dead, and the West Coast wanted East Coast to dead, because they still was going out, still chilling, still at places with each other. It was Bad Boy, and it was Death Row. It wasn't no East Coast and no West Coast. West Coast dudes were still coming out on the East Coast getting love. East Coast niggas was still going out on the West Coast getting love. It was Bad Boy versus Death Row. And that's what it was, bro. And it was because of the two CEOs. But Suge tried to straighten it out. I got to get at the Suge. The Death Row East was going to bring in Eric B. It was going to bring in Big D. And those brothers was from the East Coast. So now, they was looking for a representative to come to the meeting from Bad Boy so they could straighten out the between Pac and Big and Death Row and Bad Boy. And Puff is the one who refused. Puff is the one to refuse to send a representative or either come himself. And got mad at Zip and them because they were in the Mirage on 57th Street partying with Suge Knight. Got mad at them. And Zip hung up the phone on behind that.
So what you mean by more?
So I don't know where you get all the extras from when they had a conversation at the hospital and all that. That's absolutely not true. Say less, if you know what I mean. But instead of just saying less, since I've been in here, Snoop and other people been having people trying to bail the guy out, Keefy D, because he talking too much. Raising them trying to do stuff for Puffy because they say he talking too much. They even had somebody talk to me and say, hey, you can help him get free. I said, look, I don't have nothing to do with none of that, and I'm not leaving prison to go to nobody county jail. To the point they were saying, well, you can't leave and sacrifice a little bit in the county jail to stop that black man from getting life? Hell no. I ain't wishing bad on him at all because I don't want to see nobody go to prison. And like I told you last time, since I find out more details about certain things, I probably would go to the Vegas County Jail if me and Keefy D was Sellies. We have a good conversation. And after I give him, six upside his head, another 6 in his body, and another 2. But yeah, that's definitely didn't happen with Snoop didn't go to the hospital.
One of the most circulated claims was that Snoop Dogg suddenly went quiet after the documentary's release. But even a basic fact check quickly dismantles that idea. Snoop kept posting publicly, commenting on music, business ventures, and even showing visible support for 50 Cent. The notion of his disappearance came from selective attention. When people want a story to fit, they ignore anything that contradicts it. Snoop did not issue panic statements. He did not delete his social media. He did not retreat from public life. Instead, he continued focusing on his work and business ventures, including Death Row Records. Silence can sometimes be strategic, but in this case, there wasn't even silence, just a choice not to feed rumors that had no merit. The difference between Snoop Dogg and Diddy right now isn't about fame, it's about evidence. Diddy's conviction came after years of investigation, sworn testimony, and documented legal findings. Snoop Dogg's situation, in contrast, is based entirely on association and speculation. As of December 2025, federal updates confirm there are no charges, no indictments, and no active cases involving Snoop Dogg. That distinction is crucial. In a time when powerful figures are being held accountable, silence from law enforcement doesn't mean protection, it means a lack of proof. The industry is undeniably facing upheaval, but not everyone caught in the shakeup is guilty. When rumor is mistaken for reality, it doesn't strengthen the truth, it undermines it, especially when accountability actually matters. Right now, Snoop Dogg finds himself at the center of one of the internet's favorite patterns, turning mystery into accusation, old grudges into supposed proof, and speculation into fear. But strip away the dramatic thumbnails and reaction videos, and the reality is simple. There is no verified footage. There are no charges. There is no disappearance. The real story isn't about Snoop Dogg panicking, it's about how quickly narratives form when an empire falters and everyone nearby is treated as guilty by association. As the fallout from Diddy's case continues and more facts come to light, the real question isn't who the internet will try to target next. The real question is whether truth will be allowed to rise above rumor, or if speculation will continue deciding guilt before facts even have a chance to speak.